All right, let's start. Which statement is true about the graph below? So you needed to highlight graph, right? All right, so let's go to the first one. All right, so I'm looking for the true one. I like to do this so that I don't forget that I'm actually looking for the true and not the false. Jim must drive 60 miles to use 6 gallons of gas. So these are miles and this is gas. So 60 miles. So must he drive 60 miles to use 6 gallons? No, that's false. He only uses what? There you go. So it's not A. All right, next one. If Jim wanted to drive 150 miles, he would need 10 gallons of gas. How do we figure that one out? You did a table. I would do the unit rate, right? So if 4 gallons equals 60 miles, right? How much is 1 gallon? How much is 1 gallon? How much is it? 15. What did you do to figure that out? Divide it. Very good. You're going to say 60 divided by 4. So 15 miles. So 1 gallon equals 15 miles. I need to figure out 10 gallons. 150 miles. Very good. All you needed to do was multiply 15 by 10. So this was the correct one. So it was letter B. All right, let's go to the next one. Tracy graphed the number of hours she worked last week and her pay. What is the range? So that would be up and down. So it is from 0 all the way to what? To 400. Which two can you eliminate right off the bat? B and a D, because they have X's instead of Y's, right? Because your range would be your Y. So I can eliminate B and I can eliminate D. So is it less than or equal to? Less than or equal to. Very good. Let's go to the back. All right, so for this one, the graph below shows the movement of a toy rocket that was launched from a 500 feet cliff above the water. Which of the following statement best describes the situation? So are you looking for the true one or the false one? The true one. Very good. I like to write it so that I know I'm looking for the true one. All right, the rocket reaches the maximum height between 10, 20, and 30. So what's the maximum height? Where do you go on the graph to get the maximum height? Where do you go on the graph to get the maximum height? All the way to the top, right? Very good. And this is where it's the highest. And you go down. Is that between 20 and 30? Heck yeah. So what's your answer? A. There you go. Pretty easy, right? Not anything like Miss Marine gives you. Way too easy. Are we good? Yay? All right, let's go to what we were doing yesterday. Oh, no, let's go here. I'm sorry. Look for this one. We did this on tutoring. Look for this one. We did it on tutoring. I really want to go and figure out if it's discrete or... Oh, you guys haven't done that. Never mind. We didn't do discrete or continuous. No, we didn't. We're going to do that today during tutoring. So we'll save that for tutoring. All right. So let's go and do what we did yesterday, right? What we started out yesterday? The one that says key features. So we were here. Yay? So we were looking for slope, y-intercept, and x-intercept. So we're going here, right? All right, let's go. So we got to solve for what? For y, so that we can put it on the graph, on the table, on the y equal to, and then the table, and then do our thing, right? All right, so to solve for y, what do we got to do? Divide by 5, and I'm going to divide by 5 on all three terms, right? That would be 1y. There's an invisible 1 over here, so that becomes 1/5 x plus 6/5, right? All right, what do I do now? Go to y equal to and write it on the calculator. Very good. Let's clear that calculator first. If you didn't clear it yesterday, you should be clearing it right now. Okay, what do I need to put around those fractions? All right, so y equal to? So 1/5 x plus 6/5. And then I'm going to the table, right? All right, so what's my slope? I have my slope from the graph, from the equation, I'm sorry. What's my slope? 1/5. What's my y-intercept? Okay, but we're not going to write it like that. How are we going to write it? Okay, let's look at our notes, please. Look at your notes, please. Stop looking at the calculator and look at your notes. Because you don't need the calculator to tell me that the y-intercept is 6/5. But I don't want it like that because we were not writing it like that yesterday. So look at your notes from yesterday. Rolando, okay, you don't need to look at you don't need to open up your notebook because that paper should already be out. I'm saying look at your notes from yesterday. Say that again. Thank you, Joshua. 0 and what? No, we can leave it at 6/5. So 0 and 6/5. We forgot because it was a whole 24 hours. All right, what's my x-intercept? You have to do the table, and what are you looking for? When the y equals 0. And it's right here, so nobody should be telling me anything other than the correct answer because it's in your cheat sheet, on your purple cheat sheet. It says that on the x-intercept, y equals 0. Stop tuning me out and pay attention. All right, so -6 and 0. And what is my 0? X equals what? What are the 0 of the function? Thank you. -6. Very good. Next one. Y equals 7x plus 3. Do I have to do anything for this one? Do I have to solve for y? Heck no. I just need to go to the equation, to the calculator, and write down 7x plus 3, and then I need to go to the table. All right. What's my slope? 7. What's my y-intercept? I'm going to ask again. What's my y-intercept? 0 and 3. What's my x-intercept? Why are you telling me when x equals 0? Thank you. When y equals 0. Well, not on the table, but it has to touch the x-intercept, right? Because that's a line. So what do we need to do? We have to solve, which means if y equals 0, I can substitute that 0 for the y and then solve for x, right? So the equation was y equals 7x plus 3. So 0 equals 7x plus 3. You can either go to equation solver or you can go ahead and do the steps because this is pretty easy to solve. Negative 3 equals 7x. Divide by 7. That's canceled. So you get that x equals what? 3, negative 3 over 7. All right, so what's my x-intercept? And 0. What is my 0? Negative 3 sevenths. Very good. Yay? All right. Next one. 8y equals 2x plus 10. I have to solve for what? For y. So divide by 8. I like to simplify. So 2/8 simplified would be 1/4. Very good. And 10/8 simplified would be 5/4. All right, what's my slope? 1/4. What's my y-intercept? 0 and 5/4. And I don't need to go to the y equal to figure those out. So let's go to y equal to now because I need the x-intercept. So around that fraction, parentheses. And what am I looking for? X equals 0 or y equals 0? Y equals 0 because this is your x-intercept. And if you don't know, it's here for you. Okay? So what's my answer? Negative 5 and what? And 0. So what is the 0 of the function? Negative 5. Go ahead and copy. I'm going to have him close. All right, let's go to the next one. 5y equals 7x minus 3. Divide by 5. So y equals 7/5 x minus 3/5. What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? 0 and negative 3/5. And for my x-intercept, what do? Y equal to, write it down. Hopefully it will be there. If not, then we need to do a little bit more work. Is it on the table? So negative 3/5, 7/5 x. I'm going to go to the table. I'm looking for y equals 0. And it jumps from negative 6 to positive 8. So it's definitely a fraction. It's between those two numbers. That's what you can tell me. That it's between 0.8 and negative 0.6. So if y equals 0, then I can go ahead and plug that 0 in there, right? And solve for x. So 0 equals 7/5 x minus 3/5. So plus 3/5 That's 0. And you get that 3/5 equals 7/5 x. Now to get rid of that fraction, what do I need to do? No. Multiply by what? The reciprocal. Very good. So that cancels that. That cancels that. So the only thing that you get is an x. That 5 and that 5 are canceled. So what's your x? 3/7. So what's my x-intercept? 3 sevens and 0, which means my function, my 0, the 0 of the function would be 3 sevens. There you go. Next one. That should be the last one. Divide by 9. So y equals 4th 9x, and then I can simplify that to 2/3. Slope, 4/9. Y-intercept. Very good. 0 and negative 2/3. And then for the x-intercept, I'm going to go to the table, right? And then if it's not there, then I got to work a little bit. Those fractions around what? Parentheses. So 4/9 x minus 2/3. All right, and I'm looking for when y equals 0. Okay, those are getting bigger. See, it's not there. It jumps from negative 0.22 to positive 0.22, which means it's got to be a number between those two, right? So I got to plug it in. I got to plug in that 0, okay, because it's not on my table. So remember, this is 0, because y equals 0. So 0 equals 4/9x minus 2/3 plus 2/3. 4th 9x equals 2/3, and now I got to multiply by the reciprocal, right? Eyes on me. Stop tuning me out. That cancels, that cancels, that cancels, that cancels. 9 times 2 is 18. 4 times 3 is 12. I can simplify that using, I believe it's sixes. So that would be 3/2. All right, so what's my x-intercept? 3/2 and 0, and then my 0 would be 3/2, which is 1.5, right? Yay? All righty. For those that were not here yesterday, you need to watch that video because you missed quite a bit. Yay? All right. So what is always occurring with the y-intercept? X equals 0. Very good. X equals 0. What is always occurring on the x-intercept? Y equals 0. Very good. I'm going to jump to number 4. How can you find the x-intercept using the equation? Replace what? Very good. You need to say y equals 0 and then solve for x. What about how can you find the y-intercept using the equation? Very good. X equals 0 and then solve for y. You got it. Solve for y. It's the opposite, right? Yay? All righty, let's go to the back. All right, so it says, find the key features of the function f of f, graph here. And I don't need the calculator right now because everything is in here. Is the graph increasing or decreasing from x negative 2 to x to 0? So it's asking about domain from negative 2 to 0. What is the graph doing? Decreasing. It's right here. It's decreasing. Very good. All right. The next one says, is the graph increasing or decreasing from 2 to 3? So from 2 to 3. Very good. Can you see it? From 2 to 3 would be this section right here. I love my cards because of that. I cannot do this without my cards, and some of you have lost your cards. So it's increasing. All right. So what are my x-intercepts? -1. So -1. And what's the other one? 2. Very good. So x equals -1. And x equals 2. You can write it as ordered pairs as well, right? What is the ordered pair for that one? -1 and 0. And what is the ordered pair for that one? 2 and 0. All right, what's my y-intercept? Follow along. Negative what? -2. All right, so how do I write this? Y equals -2, or as a coordinate plane? 0 and -2. Yay? All right, so evaluate f of 1. What does that mean? Okay, what does it mean?
When x
What's inside the parentheses is always what? X is not y. You have it over here. Just look at it. If you don't know, look at the problem. The problem usually gives you the information that you need. When x equals 1, what is y? So talk to me. So when x equals 1, you go all the way down to where it touches. And that would be what? -2. What's the maximum? What's the maximum of this graph? It doesn't have one, so it's infinity. So this one, no maximum. Right? Because it keeps on going. So, oh, you can write infinity. That's okay. Positive infinity, right? We can write, so there's no max. What about your minimum?
-2.
So this is where your minimum is? Because that's what you're telling me, that it's -2. So where's your minimum? It's right at the bottom. Which means I need to go up. So on the minimum, what's the value of x? All right, I'm going to ask again. On the minimum, which is that point over there, does everybody understand why that's the minimum? It's right at the bottom, right? What is the value of x? 0.5. Thank you. 0.5. It's in the 1, 2, 3, and 4. This graph is done by what? What's the scale of this graph? 0.25. Thank you. 0.25. So the x would be 0.50. What is my y? -2.25. Very good. All right, what's the domain? Can I restrain my domain?
No.
So what is it? All real numbers are from negative infinity to positive infinity. What about my range? Can I restrain it?
Yes.
Yeah, I can restrain it over here, but not over there at the top, right? So what would it be? 2 positive infinity. And don't worry about the axis of symmetry. We're going to learn that when we do quadratics. But I'm going to show you real quick what it is. The axis of symmetry is the axis where you can take that graph and fold it in half. Okay? So if I take this graph and I fold it in half, it folds in half right there, which is when x equals what? 0.5. Okay, so you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. We already did it. I don't know why I did that. It's that simple, but we go through it a lot. Like you really learn about it when we do quadratics. So x equals 0.5. So it's where you can put that line where whatever's on the right side looks the same as whatever's on the left side. Okay? All right, are we good? Let's do one more and then we're going to move to our activities. Find the key features of the function g of x to the right. All right. Where is the graph increasing? Say that again. It's not increasing. What is this graph doing? It's decreasing. Well, it stays the same at the beginning. You're absolutely right. So this graph never increases. All right, what's my y-intercept? Negative 6. Very good. So it would be y equals negative 6 or 0 and negative 6. What's my x-intercept? Yeah, you got it. Negative 2. So x equals negative 2. So negative 2 and 0. So find when x equals 3, what is y? Well, in this one you cannot see it, but I'm going to tell you something. This graph, you see over here at the top, it kind of reaches what? And then it kind of stays on 2, right? It's going to do the same thing at the over here at the bottom. But because you cannot see it, but it touches 1 and it stays on 1. But because you cannot see it, we're going to go ahead and leave it blank, okay? But it's actually 1, but you can't see it, okay? Because I'm giving you stuff that's not for Algebra 1. It's a lot higher, all right? So let's go ahead and do the next one. What's the maximum? Oh, yes, it does. What's the maximum?
2. Because it stays on
It
2.
stays on 2. My maximum is, what's the maximum value on the range? It's what? It's 2. All right? So maximum value is 2. So y equals 2. What about the minimum?
1.5.
Does it keep on? Okay, the minimum would be at the bottom, right? Say that again. It doesn't have a minimum because it keeps on going and going and going. So this one has no minimum, or you can put negative infinity, right? Because it's down. So you can put negative infinity. So that was very good. All right, so what's my domain? Can I restrain? So all real numbers. Or from negative infinity to positive infinity. What about my range? 2 to negative infinity, not positive. We're making very careless mistakes. From 2 to because I cannot restrain, and these are where the negative are. All right, is there an axis of symmetry? Can you draw a line anywhere, somewhere, that the right side equals the left side? So no axis of symmetry. Yay? All right. So this is what